Well, I could do another one, but they won't understand that. But you all, as I shared, I used to call him Eric. And we used to call him Chicken. We still do call him Chicken, but he's known now to me as Dr. Eric, my mentor, right? We had to grow into that because, like I said, sometimes you have people in your atmosphere and in your environment, and we may not all the time identify their value. But Dr. Eric has earned my respect because he's actually made me a product of the product, right? And so many more people. Now, as you just heard Melissa Boston share, I know he's coming from training. I know he's coming from running. He's taken his health to another level. Eric is 52 years old, you all. I'm 49. We were on college campus, and as some people decided to go one direction, Eric decided to learn and go another direction. So as we were aging, I'm gonna be honest. He walked up in whatever or on Facebook, hey, can I come and run with y'all? We like, no. Can I come to the picnic? No. We didn't want to hear from Eric. But you all have the pleasure of hearing from my fraternity brother, Phi Beta Sigma in the house. We're representing. But I want you to hear from this man of God. Now he finna show his muscles. See, he ain't trying.
I was getting hot, man. I'm sorry.
All right, no, that's all right. But you all, I want you to listen, as I probably hadn't in the past. I want you to listen to his heart. I want you to listen to what he's passionate about, which is helping people. So bring into the stage right now, bring into this Zoom. Dr. Eric, take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Fried, and I appreciate all those words. And trust me, I don't take anything for granted. I understood what was going on as far as brothers not really wanting me to kind of, because, I might have pushed them a little bit past what they was ready to go. I get that. And as far as being called to the picnics and the cookouts, yeah, I'm vegan. I bring in bananas and fruits. They bring in ribs and chicken and all that and potato salad. So yeah, I had to deal with that throughout my life as I made the transition, which is what a lot of people now are experiencing. You're going to experience the persecution from making a change. You decide that you want to stop doing something or you want to start doing something new, then you're going to have to deal with all of the years of tradition, all of the people that have made you all this good food, quote unquote, and you're going to have to answer to them as to why now, can't you eat my smothered steak, my smothered chicken, my smothered macaroni and cheese? Why? Why can't you eat that? Why can't you eat the cake with the pork in it? You see what I'm saying? Because what you're learning is that it's just not good for us. It has never been good for us. And don't get me wrong, I loved all of that stuff. I was a devout meat eater up until 2004. I was a devout meat eater so I ate anything from beef, pork. I ate chicken wings. I ate pig feet, pig ears. I was even eating a lot of other stuff that I'm not going to even talk about here. But, because these are things that my family fed me, my mother fed me. And, you believe in the ones you love until you start seeing them deteriorate. You really don't make the connection to food, because who would think that the food that we're eating on a regular basis is actually hurting us? It reminds me of the movie Soul Food, when Big Mama died. And right after the funeral, they had a nice big old giant soul food meal, the same food that clogged up Big Mama's arteries. But we didn't know. We didn't know that that was one of the main reasons why she had a heart attack. But I know because my grandmother, which was Big Mama, she had a heart attack. She had a heart attack, ironically, on Thanksgiving back in 1979 because of the food we were eating. So we're now at the point where we just can't keep going down the same road, expecting something different to happen. We're going to have the same bloodline conditions that our parents, our grandparents had, and we're going to pass it down to our offspring. And The problem is that when we pass it down to the offspring, it's getting worse. You know, degeneration is getting faster. That means our livers are corroding faster, degenerating faster. Our kidneys are degenerating faster. We got to do something. So this is an answer to that call. I was called to bring this forth, but I was like John the Baptist, crying in the wilderness. A lot of people weren't listening. My mother wasn't listening. Why was she listening? Why would my mother think that the food that she had given me growing up, me and my sister, was something that would harm us, but later on in life? So it's hard for a parent to accept that fact, which is why sometimes they're not willing to change, because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to think that they were harming us or hurting us in any way. And they weren't. They just didn't know. So the whole detoxification process and program, and let me tell you this. Hold on, my son is trying to call me. So call Javier. You got 20 minutes. So give him a call. Tell him I'm not. He's at his. So anyway, the problem is this: the detoxification process. I didn't discover that process when I went to Israel in 2004 when I changed my diet. That process embarked upon me, I would say, about 6 years later, because it took me from 2004 to 2010 to get animal protein out of my system. So for 6 years, I was detoxing. I was detoxing for 6 years. That's why the post regimen is so important. You cleanse for 3 weeks, but you're detoxing for the rest of your life. You know why? Because you're pulling the old substance out. You're pulling the old material out, and you're replacing it with new material, new substance. So you're literally changing the whole composition of your body, because we were all born eating meat. So therefore, at the level of our DNA, our genetic code is crossed with animal protein. Now, we talk about animal protein, but we have effects of animal protein in our life. But when it comes to our children, it's been proven that the aggression, the aggressiveness of our children, the violence, the agitation, the irritation, all of it has to do with the animal consumption. Even some learning disabilities have been associated with diet. So these are things that I had to study. I had to learn because I had to be convinced myself. I was convinced when I went to Israel and I saw that the community over there, Black community that looked like us, I saw that everyone looked healthy. Everyone looked great. Everyone looked vibrant. The kids were respectable. The elders looked young. You couldn't tell how old they were. You didn't hear about heart disease. You didn't hear about cancer. You didn't hear about death for decades over there. That was the vision I saw that said, hey, we need to, I guess I can say God impregnated me with this vision, and I had to bring it forth. And I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't easy to bring it forth, because when you look around, you're always looking for somebody else to do the work. Somebody else got to do it. Wait, who's gonna do that? What do they say? If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Well, these were the questions I had to ask myself. How do I bring this and embark this upon my people? I'm already being alienated from my family. And I'll go to the house, my mom's house. She had the chicken, she had the meat, she was hiding food because she didn't want me, talking about it. I wasn't gonna talk about it, but she felt like I was a judge. I just wanted her to live. As of today, today is August 1st, right? No, tomorrow's August 1st. She'll be 80 in 4 days. And what she reminded me, based upon this process, is that no one in our family, our immediate family, has lived past 80. No, not past 80, has lived past 79. She reminded me that she is now breaking a barrier. She is breaking a milestone, and that's important because that means that we're breaking the bloodline curse. We all need to consider, how do you break your bloodline curse? Because it's not just about you. It wasn't about me. but it was about the decision I made. That decision I made, I had to deal with all of the consequences, all of the persecution, the alienation. I had to deal with all of that. Trying to find restaurants that would serve the right food, going to a restaurant and having the cook, the chef in the back, make special requirements and arrangements just to make sure I got the food that I was able to eat. So trust me, it's a lot easier now being healthy, being vegan, than it was 10 years ago. So detoxification, the process of detoxing is about removing stored waste out of your system, out of your joints, out of your muscles. And when you remove remove the poisons out of your body goes back to functioning in its normal and balanced state. When you do the age reversal detoxification program, what I want to say about it is that it's the reason why I'm on my way back now from Kentucky, University in Kentucky. I went to University in Kentucky to compete in the 200, and then I also ran the 4x4. Now, if any of you guys know anything about track and field, the 200 meters is half a track around, the large outdoor track. And then the 400, of course, is a whole track. When I go up against competitors my age, these are guys that are doing the same thing, that are running. They may not be vegan, but they're competing at the age that they didn't think that they could compete at after college. I didn't think I was going to be competing after college as well. But when I started detoxifying my body, and I started removing all the stored waste out of my organs, tissue, and especially my muscles, then my muscles stopped calcifying. They started, that's what causes. And you try to put some type of stress or tension on that muscle, and guess what happens? It snaps. Well, this is what causes a lot of people to stop competing, stop playing sports after a certain age, because their body is starting to wear down. Their body is starting to degenerate. So we just accept the fact that, hey, we're getting old. Let's just leave it at that. Prepare for retirement. No. When I learned that you can reverse your aging process, that's where I began to set my career for the rest of my life on helping people to get younger, to live younger, to live healthy, to live as you lived, well, quote unquote, as you should have lived in your 20s. So from 13 to 23, we consider that kind of your prime. Well, then once we leave our prime, we start getting older and we stop doing the things that we did in our prime. I ran high school track and field. I ran college, University of Illinois. And then for 18 years, I stopped. Why? Because I was doing what everybody else did. I was falling into a pattern. But when I went to the land of Israel, the Holy Land, that's when I got instructions to begin to do something different. And so when I brought the idea of veganism back, and then I learned about detoxifying my body, I put two and two together, and that's when I realized it was called age reversal. Reversing your age is reversing degeneration. You're going from a term that we teach in class called entropy. Entropy is the gradual decline of order. Entropy is the gradual decline of order. This means you start off very ordered as a baby, and you just start declining over life. Well, that's called entropy. That's the process that we're all familiar with. You know what we call that process? Aging until you die. I'm going to give you a new term now. You want to write this down. The new term is syntropy. Syntropy, S-Y-N-T-R-O-P-Y, syntropy. Entropy is E-N-T-R-O-P-Y. So this process is taking you from a process that we're all used to, that's common among every human being on the planet, called entropy. It's taking you from entropy to syntropy. That means that you're starting to reverse the biological processes that are actually going on inside your body. This is a sign. They're just now really starting to talk about it, but I've talked about it for so long, they have to talk about it now. But this is something that we never talked about. We just accepted the fact that we're going to die from something, and that's not a fact anymore. It turns out that we don't necessarily have to die from anything. In fact, it turns out that we don't even necessarily have to die. According to the scripture, you have a choice. You can either die or you can be changed. That's your choice now. You can either die or be changed. You okay? All right. Driving a little weird. You can either die or be changed. What do I mean by changed? Well, what I mean is that translated. We know the story about Enoch. In the beginning, it talked about how, people lived hundreds of years and then they died. But then it got to Enoch and he was like, he lived up to 300 and God took him and he was translated, but he didn't die. So what really happened to him? I don't know. We don't know. But translation, being translated or transformed or changed, means that we're going from, we're evolving. We're going from being a carnivore as we thought we were to being a vegetarian, to a vegan, to a fruitarian, to a liquidarian, hey, back to being a breatharian. They say, well, what's a breatharian? Well, breatharian is someone who has reached a point where his body is able to create the necessary nutrients that he needs to function. In other words, he's not dependent upon external substances. And that's the problem, is that we've been dependent upon external substances in order to give us the energy that we need. But if you look at a tree doesn't need to be fed something external. Yeah, it gets water, but it gets enough from the sunlight. The chlorophyll in the tree, which makes it green, takes the sunlight through photosynthesis, and that's how it creates what the tree needs to live and grow. And now the question is, how long does a tree live? Hundreds of years, right? Maybe thousands. How long do animals live? Not that long. If you consume animals, you're taking on the life span of that animal. But if you eat from trees, as I eat from trees, now you're starting to take on the lifespan and the genetics of that tree. And this is even proven in scripture when God said, as the days of a tree, so shall be the days of my people. He's telling us, he's comparing us now to the lifespan of a tree. You can't eat meat, dairy, a lot of cooked food all your life and expect to live as long as a tree. That's not gonna happen. The goal is you want to be able to live a long life and you want to be able to be in control of your health. So when we talk about age reversal and we talk about the flat belly cleanse, the 21-day cleanse, and I think Willie might have went through it. You have the superfood, you have the parasite mucus buster, and you have the liquid colonic tea. Why do we call it liquid colonic, as a foundation? Because it's like getting a regular colonic, but yet it's like liquid Drano. What does liquid Drano do? It unclogs the plumbing. And right now, a lot of people are dealing with clogged pipes. It's called constipation. Undoing the constipation is the prerequisite to healing your body. There's nothing that's going to happen in the body until you first get rid of the waste that's in the intestines. Once you get rid of that waste in the intestines, you also have to clear up the mucus buildup. Because if you don't clear up the mucus buildup, then you can't even get the nutrition into your bloodstream in order to nourish your cells. And also, the fact that we've been eating meat for a long time, we have created a lot of parasites in our system. We don't realize we have parasites, but yes, if you're a meat eater, you're dealing with parasites. They've probably been living with you for a long time. So we're dealing with parasite mucus buster. Parasite mucus buster is going to help to kill the parasites as well as flush out the mucus. And then now the nutrition comes in. You're flooding your body with nutrition pretty much for 3 weeks straight. And you got to understand that everyone that has scanned is dealing with some type of vitamin or mineral deficiency. Everyone, I don't care who you are, you're dealing with some deficiency. Even when I first found out, I was dealing with deficiency. But the difference is when you scan, you now have an idea that you have deficiency. So now you have the ability to make some changes. You can correct that deficiency. If you know that your liver isn't functioning properly, now you can work on flushing it. Your kidneys, you can work on cleaning them out. In other words, your gastrointestinal tract is clogged, you can clean it out as well. So now we just have a better system that will help us to restore our balance, return back to our youth, and also live a much healthier life. Okay. So anyway, foods. There's a lot of different foods out there, but when you talk about things, you're eating raw. You also uncooked. There's a lot of cooked food creates mucus in the body. So that's one of the reasons to get rid of the mucus. And then once you come off the raw food in your diet, even when you eat cooked food, even if you're going back to eat meat. Why? Because what they've shown is that if you just eat all cooked food with a meal and nothing raw in that meal, you develop actually keeps the mucus accumulation from getting too bad. So that's why it's important to learn how to eat. We want to learn how to eat to live. Up until now, we eat. So detoxification, eating the right foods, and then once you know your blood type, then now you can begin to investigate which foods are compatible with your chemistry and which foods are incompatible. When you're cleansing, the blood type diet is not as important unless you cleanse 3 or 4 times and you now want to incorporate just the beneficial and neutral foods into your regimen. Then that's something you can do. But when you're first starting off, people don't have to worry as much when they're cleansing about the blood type foods, because your body is going to filter it all out during the cleanse anyway. You don't have to worry a whole lot about organic products during the cleanse because your body is going to filter out that pesticide anyway. Just focus on the conventional stuff, focus on just eating raw properly. And then once you come off the cleanse, once a person comes off the cleanse, then now they can investigate their blood type foods. Now they can kind of start creating and customizing their lifestyle and customizing their diet. Now you're going into the grocery store, not based upon tradition, but based upon intelligence. And that's something we never had till now. When I went in the store, I got what I knew I used to eat and what my grandmother and mother gave me. But if I keep doing that, then I'm going to develop heart disease. If I keep doing that, I'm going to develop diabetes as my mother had. You see what I'm saying? So it's tradition that's killing us as well. So breaking tradition is okay. It's okay to break tradition. It's not going to feel comfortable. One, because, when it comes to those family cookouts and gatherings, you're going to be questioned. And like my family, you're going to get teased and talked about. Some people can't handle that. I don't care. Because I did that, I'm now helping my family to live, just like you must help your family to live. So if there are any questions, I just kind of gave you a little bit of a synopsis as to what's, why the process is. But if you have any questions specifically, let's run through them because it might be something that somebody else wants to know.
Dr. Prince, this is Magnolia Carter. I have a guest on the line, Bertha Thomas. And Bertha and I have been talking about the 21-day raw vegan cleanse. And she has questions because she says she has a lot of allergies. She does not know her blood type, but she has some questions for you.
Okay. Bertha, are you on? Chime in. Or I could just start talking about what's going on with you. You may not even have to ask the question, but when you have a lot of allergies, you there, Bertha? Okay. All right. What's the question?
Food allergies is what I say. Magnolia. I have food allergies, and they include citrus and dairy and several other things. I am a non-meat eater.
Okay.
So what I was looking for was your ingredient list to see what's in your ingredients.
Okay, got you.
Ingredients you use to make your products, and my allergies are weird.
Got you. Well, I don't have a list of them right now. All of the ingredients are on the products. Hold on. Yeah, all the ingredients are actually on the products, but most of them are like herbal supplements. Is there anything in particular that you are allergic to? And I can probably tell you if it's in there.
The list is long, and the joke is asking what she's not allergic to is shorter. All things citrus, and 90% of dairy products I'm allergic to for starters.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is this. You are probably dealing with a leaky gut. And a leaky gut has to do with the perforations in your gastrointestinal lining. When you have these perforations, which comes from years of eating animal products, because you're corroding your gastrointestinal lining. And most of us have been doing this. That's why we deal with so many allergies, because we've been corroding the gastrointestinal lining. And when you do that, you start causing little holes in your gastrointestinal tract. And what happens is now when you eat different foods, part of that food is getting through into the bloodstream, you see? And so when it gets into the bloodstream, guess what's gonna happen? Your immune system is gonna react. It can be foods that are actually compatible with your blood type. But if that food is getting into the bloodstream because of those little holes in your gut, because of years of consuming a certain food, then your immune system is designed to recognize those particles. That's the immune system's job. It's designed, it has to remember. That's why anytime there's something foreign in the body, it remembers it and it mounts a defense against it. So if you're eating foods and you have these little perforations in your gastrointestinal tract, which that's what it sounds like it is, then your immune system is identifying all these different foods as harmful to you because it's in the bloodstream. When something gets in the bloodstream that's not supposed to be there, your immune system has a job to tag it. So that if it shows back up, guess what's going to happen? It's going to trigger an immune response. So that list is nothing but the food you eat on a regular basis, but particles are slipping into your bloodstream. In that sense, what we need to do, we need to heal your gastrointestinal lining. That's what this process is all about. Healing the gastrointestinal lining in order to close the door to that issue. I'm sorry that the screen shifted on me.
Oh, we're just showing the ingredients so she can take a screenshot while you're talking. So it's just listing product 1, 2, and 3, and these are the ingredients, Bertha.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, but I was born with these allergies. It's not something that just came up. Mm-hmm. I presented with the citrus allergy as early as 8 months.
Okay. So that means that somebody passed this down to you. Because people aren't just
case.
A lot of times, trust me, anything can be passed down genetically. In fact, they say that a lot of stuff we have is genetic, right? But according to epigenetics, everything that's passed down to us at some point was received from the environment. So everything genetic is coming from our environment. So if our parents ate a certain way, that becomes our genetics. So I'm predisposed to diabetes, but that doesn't mean I have to manifest diabetes. You have the ability to rewrite your genes and rewrite your genetics. And the only way to do that is to clean and detoxify your body. When you clean and detoxify your body, you actually start to close the door to all of these particular allergies. So you don't want to be afraid of all the natural organic stuff that's in here, because we've dealt with thousands of people over the past 10 years, and that was the least of our issues. A person who couldn't do the products because they had all of these allergies. I've had to sit down and write out a whole list of people's allergies and try to figure out, okay, what can they consume during this process? What products can we give them? Well, that's why you now have the Flat Belly Cleanse products, because of years of having to deal with certain people that have all these allergies. So we had to troubleshoot. We had to go through trial and error, and this is what we have. So these products will actually help you. If for some reason, you start having some negative experience, then we can troubleshoot that. But I don't believe that you're going to have any problems with these products. Okay. So I would say try it out. Don't be too analytical in this, because this process does help. And it's you don't want this process to not help you, because if it is a good process and you don't have any issues to it, now the foods that you eat during the cleanse, those are the ones you can regulate. But as far as the products, I think these are going to be okay for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions out there as it pertains to allergies?
Someone's asking about metal in their body. Can they have the bioscan if they have metal in their body from a spinal fusion?
Right. What we say is that, you can scan, but just make a note that the metals may affect the readings. That's all we can do, is make a note that they may affect the reading, but you're gonna get a pretty decent scan even with the metals from my experience. But you make a note that the metals are there, so that way, if there is something that shows up that may be a little bit off, then you probably can attribute it to the metals, or maybe it's just your health anyway. There's a lot of people who have a lot of crazy scans and they have no metal whatsoever in their body. So don't think that the metal is gonna, tell you something that you may not already know, or that wasn't already there before the metal even showed up. When you scan, even if you have metal in your body, that scan is still, with certain algorithms, going to be able to find out what's going on in your liver, kidneys, and the main organs that we need to address. If you got metal in your bone, then we may have to take that bone report a little light. But I'm going to tell you, based upon your past lifestyle, we're not going to even need a bone report, because if your body is acidic, if you've been consuming animal protein most of your life, or to some extent, then if your body is acidic and the pH is below 7.35, 7.45, then that means your body's going to leach calcium out of the bones, which is going to weaken your bones, and is going to start to cause osteoporosis, which is porousness in the bones. It doesn't matter if metal's in your bone or not. If that's your lifestyle that you've been living to now, that's just naturally what's going to occur. And you know what? If you have metal in your spine for whatever reason, it may be due to that particular process. The fact that your bone is deteriorating because of the same thing, the food we've been given. Meat makes your body really acidic. When you're younger, you can neutralize that acid, but then as you get older, that neutralization starts to slow down, because there's so much accumulating that it's overtaking the body. So the body has to do something to try to counter that. What does it do? It snatches calcium out your bone in order to try to neutralize that pH, to bring it back up to neutral, because it's been proven that disease can't survive in an alkaline body. And because of that, your body knows that as well. So when your body becomes acidic, it has to do something, because your body believes in life over limb. It'll save your life to get that pH up, but you'll lose a limb. And that limb may be the one that's dealing with all the metal, okay? Any more questions out there?
Let's see.
Don't be scared. Y'all don't be scared.
Can I ask a question that was asked of me?
Sure.
Well, I have a friend and she has, what do you call it when your heart is got a lot of water on it? I forget what you call it.
Congestive heart failure.
Yes, congestive heart failure. She's a diabetic. She's a breast cancer survivor. And she got high blood pressure. She got all these things, and she wants to know. She's kind of scared to take the cleanse, and I'm like, she should take the cleanse.
No, you tell her I'd be scared not to take the cleanse. Because everything that's going on with her is all of the textbook issues that lead you to nothing but the cleanse. I'm talking about all of that is textbook. There is no way, and I'm gonna tell you, there is no way you can reverse any of that stuff if you don't detox the body. Her fear is in what she don't know. We have to help her to learn, to become familiar with this process. See, most people are afraid of this process because they don't know this process. You know why they don't know it? Because we weren't taught this process. That's why we're afraid to do something natural. We will do something that's unnatural, that's common, but doesn't work before we do something that's natural, that actually works close to 100%. But if we don't know that process, we'd rather kind of lean to what we do know. We just got to overcome the fear of the unknown. But we also got our faith is being tested here. The people that say they believe in God, if you do have a God that you believe in, I don't know what your religion may be, but if you have a God, whether it's Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, I don't know, whoever you got, if you believe in that God is going to direct you to something more natural that you have to believe in order to get you well again. But if you're afraid to believe in something natural, then you don't really have a strong belief in God that you think you do. So you have to test your faith and say, okay, well, if I believe that, this is natural and this is going to help me, God doesn't desire death. He doesn't desire sacrifice. He desires obedience. That means we have to turn back to nature. We have to go back to the ground. We have to go back to where we come from. We come from the dust. What is dust? Minerals, vitamins. That's what we come from. How can we not trust what we're made of? Coach, you have to assert yourself. As coaches, you got to stop being real nice to people. Don't be mean and don't be disrespectful, but you have to assert yourself. You got to let them know we can't keep thinking a certain way. What, don't parents do that to their children? The children do something silly, they assert themselves and they with sternness, they talk to the child to let them know, hey, that doesn't make sense. That's not right. I know the people we work with are not children. And well, we may work with some children, but we're working with adults or maybe even peers. I had to assert myself with my mother because I wanted to save her life. And I told her, I said, look, one plus one equals 2. Doesn't that make sense? And it makes sense to her. And because I asserted myself, and trust me, I reverence my mother to this very day. I honor my mother and my father, who I've never met, but I honor, I love them. But when it comes down to saving their life, you're gonna have to step up. You're gonna have to be stern with them because people will try you based upon their own experience in life, and you don't want to adopt their experience. You want them to adopt your experience, your healing experience. Because guess now it's going to be something that they know. Because once they do it, once they experience it, you don't turn back. You're not going to be so quick to want to take an injection, pharmaceutical medicine, in order to treat your high blood pressure. You're gonna go scan your body. You're gonna detox your system, and everything is going to fall back in balance. So assert yourself, be stern with them, but do it with love. And it'll work out. She needs the detox.
I told her, thank you.
But hey, and Cheryl Johns.
Yes.
Set up a 3-way call, and I'll talk to her as well. Okay.
All right, thank you.
And that's what everyone out there, if you're dealing with a challenging client or customer, don't be afraid to text me and say, hey, you know what? I got a little challenge here. It's a little bit above my pay grade. Can you come on and help me to talk to this lady? Yes. I'm on my way back from a track meet. I got butt locked from running the 400 meters, and we won. We brought back a gold. But the point is that when Melissa texted me, she said, hey, we about to get on. I had to let all that go. The track meet is over. I'm on the road back. It's going to take us another maybe 4 hours to get home. But the point is that I care about our people. So therefore, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. So if you got a challenging situation, if you have a difficult scenario, a difficult condition, health condition, then let's do it together. Let's work together and help this person, because I guarantee you, you're going to learn something in that conversation, whether it's a three-way call or a Zoom call, or if we meet them inside of the office, we're going to help that person. So don't be afraid to call me. Trust me. From October, and you got to understand this, I didn't make it to the finals in the 200 meters because I had to cut my training a little short because of what we started in October. But that was the sacrifice. I would, if I had to go back and do it again, I would do the same thing. I wanted to build something with Wakanda. So therefore, my training slowed down from October to now. But it's not important for me to win a race and get a gold medal. No, that's not important. What's important is putting something together that's going to help our people to reverse that bloodline curse and live healthy like I live healthy. That was what's most important to me. Not training so I can go out and look good winning a race, but to be able to have people all over the country with a bioscan in their hand, helping people to find out what's going on in your body at the cellular level before that crisis show up. That's more important to me than anything else, okay? Somebody has a question. Berlin, check in.
Hi.
Hey.
It is such a pleasure to speak with you today. The information that you're giving out is just so important, so important. And my question has to do with the safety of the cleanse for someone who's on a lot of medications on a regular basis, taking 10 pills a day. Now, it's not me. I'm not on anything, but I know a lot of people who are on a lot of things. So, and their concern is if they're on a lot of medications, should they take the 21-day cleanse, or should they, and if so, how should they take it? Should they take the 7-day cleanse? And the last question is, I see you recording this. I would like to listen to this again. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Dr. Leiden.
Recording today.
Dr. Leiden.
We do send it out to the coaches, guys. So I think 150 people got their last week's call. So check your email. And this week, all the coaches will get it. You guys can share it as you see fit to your customers.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Great. So to answer your question, the people that are on a lot of medication, I can understand how they would be concerned. You know why they're concerned is because, one, we were taught to trust in the medical doctor and whatever advice he gave us, because our life is on the line. Nobody wants to die. So if I'm taking something that the medical doctor that I've learned to trust through my parents, through my family, through society, if I step away from that, the only thing I know, remember, you're stepping away from the only thing you were ever given. That's not easy. It's not easy. If you were given 2 systems from jump, if you were given a holistic health system and you were given a crisis management system, it'd be no question, because you're learning about holistic health and you're learning about crisis management growing up. So you're going to know the difference between if I should take medication or if I should go, and detox my body. We don't know that right now. So the people that are on medication, they wouldn't be on those medications if there was another avenue to take, if there was a proven system, if there was a system after testimony is showing that it works. We didn't have that. So these medications have accumulated over years based upon the authority that we've been given, that the authority that the doctors have been given in order to tell us that this is what we should be taking. Here's the problem. A lot of those medications are addictive. So when we get caught up in taking medication year after year after year, just the act of stepping away from a medication, our body has now developed an addiction to that med. And anytime you have an addiction to something and you stop doing it or you stop taking it, you have withdrawals. So what it looks like, it looks like, man, I stopped this medication. I'm feeling a certain way. I better take this medication. And then all of a sudden you take it and now things are kind of back to normal. That's what we're really dealing with. It's not that the medication is actually working. It, unfortunately, and medical doctors will tell you that this isn't healing your body. It's manipulating your signs and symptoms. It's bringing you into some type of stable balance. But there's a second part. You need a second part. We didn't have a second part. We only had one part. You got an emergency, you go to the doctor or the ER, you get stabilized, you get admitted, you come out, you're released. Okay, now what? What do we do now? Well, you wait till the next emergency. The next emergency show up, you do the same thing. We keep doing the same thing because we keep going back to the emergencies. We have to get away from emergency altogether. We have to get away from crisis, immediate care, or urgent care, emergency care. We have to get away from that. That is not normal. It's not normal to live in a state of emergency. But that's what all medicine, pharmaceutical medicine is. It's all emergency medicine. That's what you got to get in your head. We're living on emergency medicine. How can you get away from an emergency if you're constantly living on emergency medicine? You have, and this is what I'm telling you, this is what you have to tell them. Yeah, hey, look, I know you're scared, but you have to give them the facts of what they're doing so that they can start to develop some type of remorse that, man, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't look right. And they have to be willing to, at least with that mustard seed of faith. Like he said, they only need a mustard, don't need a whole lot. But in order for them to have that mustard seed, they have to be able to see clearly what you're talking about. You have to be able to reason with them. And I believe that we are all intelligent. And if you reason with us, it'll make sense. We'll say, okay, you know what? That makes sense. Let's do this cleanse. And now they're more inspired to come off that medication. Now they don't want to be on that medication. Some people want to be on that medication. That's why you have to make sure that the person is ready, willing, and able to do it. If they're not ready, there's nothing you can do. Just wait. If they're ready and they're willing, man, you can save a lot of lives. You can change, like Phyllis said, we can change the world. Well, let me correct that. We are changing the world, one soul at a time. This change does not stop until everyone is knowledgeable of themselves, their body, their health, what's natural, what's unnatural, and we'll all be in a state of disease prevention. I've gotten people off dozens of medication within 3 weeks. And they didn't want to go back because even when they went back, and let me tell you this, blood pressure. So blood pressure medication, you're not going to be able to stay on your blood pressure medication after 7 days. It's not even possible. People have tried to stay on their blood pressure medication. They will text me saying, hey, my client's blood pressure is 97 over 70. I asked them a question. I said, well, what are they doing? Are they still taking their medication? Like, yes. I said, that's the problem. Stop taking your medication. Let it go. The whole purpose for doing the cleanse is to cross over from synthetic medicine to natural medicine. So it's not that they won't be taking medicine. They're just changing the type of medicine that they're taking. So if you're on 7 different medications, hey, you want to start taking natural medicine and let that support you. Because once that starts supporting you, there are no side effects to that, to natural medicine. there's a lot of side effects on every commercial, to those pharmaceutical medicines. And at the end of the thing, people still want to buy it after hearing that the very thing that they're taking it for was a side effect, right? Come on. We got to wake up. We can't keep fearing the unknown. Step into the unknown.
There's another question from Beatrice Foster. Will the cleanse work for blood clots? Now, this person has factor V Leiden, I believe is how we pronounce
Yes, Leiden.
Yes.
Thank you, Melissa. I was just going to ask. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
have another question too.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so the first question, when I answer your first question, yes, in fact, blood clots, whether it's in the blood, whether it's in your lungs, it doesn't matter where in your body those clots are. The cleanse is designed to dissolve those clots. This is the reason why we can reverse heart disease. Heart disease is nothing but the buildup of plaque leading to clots in your bloodstream. If that plaque builds up, it can close off the blood vessel. It can also break off and become an embolism. An embolism is a little piece of that plaque that floats all the way to your brain. And you know what happens when that plaque floats to your brain? It can cause a stroke. But we have been able to help people to what? Avoid strokes and avoid heart attacks. And people who had clots in their lungs, we reversed it through natural stuff. So to answer your question, without a shadow of a doubt, there's nothing else you want to do to address those clots. You don't want heparin. You don't want those things. In an emergency situation, those are good because they will get you stabilized. But after you become stabilized, you don't have to go on anti-clot medicine for the next 6 months. No, you don't have to do that. They want you to do that. And there's not many people that's not going to do it unless you know a better way. We have to give people a better way. That's what this is. It's just a better way. When Jesus said, I am the truth, I am the way, and I am the life, he was talking about the natural way, not the synthetic way. So that's why it's important. Next question is?
Well, my guest is on the line. I don't think she's on her computer because she didn't ask this question, so I won't call her name.
Okay.
But she did the bioscan. She has a fatty liver. Mm-hmm. And her doctor told her because of her weight is the reason her liver is fat. Yeah. I'm sure you're going to say what I said, but I told her to get on the call tonight and ask the question. I told her that a detox would help detox her liver.
Right. Right. Well, he was right, but he was right in the wrong way. It's because of her liver that she's fat. When the liver gets clogged up, that starts to cause issues in the body because your liver filters your blood. When your liver filters your blood, it keeps your blood clean. Mm-hmm. In fact, a fatty liver causes clots. A fatty liver leads to high blood pressure. A fatty liver leads to heart disease. A fatty liver pretty much is the precursor to everything that's going on in the body. Correct. This is what I've discovered over years of scanning. I discovered that everyone that beats me, all of us herbivores,
Is it only me or is he gone?
He's gone. We lost you, Dr. Prince.
While he's getting back on.
Tell him.
And
There it goes.
There he goes.
Even animals eat their food raw. We cook our meat. So we're even eating meat wrong. Carnivores looking at us like, what are y'all doing? That's not how you eat meat. You're eating meat because they eat meat because they need the enzymes. They eat meat because they need the nutrients, because they don't have the enzymes to break down plant protein. We have enzymes. So therefore, all of the consumption of meat is clogging up her liver And when it clogs up the liver, your body gets to a point where it says, okay, well, what do I put these toxins? It starts storing it in fat tissue, adipose tissue. So your body stores in adipose tissue because it's trying to keep it out of, because their body is efficiently storing fat to try to protect them, preserve them until they detoxify their body. That's why.
Now, on the same person does not have a gallbladder. So they're under the assumption that because they don't have a gallbladder is why their foods are not being broken down properly and removed from the body, because they don't have a gallbladder.
Right. That's just an excuse. But no, they don't need a gallbladder. All they need to do is clean their liver. And when you clean your liver, you don't need a gallbladder per se in order to stay healthy. You start by dealing with the main stuff, which is the liver. If you have a gallbladder and you have a fatty liver, then yeah, you're still bound for heart disease. Most of the people that we've scanned are still dealing with heart disease, even though they have a gallbladder. Still dealing with obesity, even though they have a gallbladder. So that is no excuse. That's maybe something somebody told her, but it's not correct. And I'm only speaking from experience. So tell her you don't want to use that excuse no more. Detox your body, clean your liver. And the liver, trust me, a fatty liver is more than enough and more than enough reason to start cleaning your body out.
Thank you, Dr. Prince. As usual, you always provide excellent information. I thank you for your time, and I will relay that message, both messages.
And if you need to, do a 3-way and I'll talk to her myself, okay?
Yes, I told her that, yes.
All right, okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Hey, Doc, I need your number. I'm at work. I'm in the middle, so I just need the number.
I don't think we need to give it on the call.
We'll do it for a while.
Can you send certain people the number? They can have certain people can have it. Just send it out to the coaches or whoever, so we can do that. But yeah, it's normally for the coaches, because the coaches are the ones that we have to manage their people. But if you have a situation and we need to talk, then call Melissa. Then we can kind of connect through there. So Melissa just trying to keep me from being inundated with a lot of calls, and I appreciate that. But if it's a serious situation, we do a 3-way call, we talk about it, and we make it happen, okay?
Got you.
We happy to see you, Shawana. You need to come see
I know, I'm sitting here at the jail doing this. I've been sitting on a prisoner.
You're sitting on a
trying
prisoner.
to come home. I'm ready to come home. I want to come home.
Oh, we need you, girl. Come home.
Right. You need to do it, the 21 day.
Absolutely. Now, here's a question from Karen. She was on 2 blood pressure meds for 20 years. She's completed 2 cleanses. She stopped taking the meds in June. Now, blood pressure is elevated. I'm eating plant-based. Any suggestions? No adverse effects from not taking meds. My numbers are elevated.
Got it. Well, we would definitely have to find out, because there's always something else going on, So, the question seems like a straightforward question, but I'm gonna tell you, it's not until we really talk to you and find out a little bit more. Sometimes we have to become detectives. We have to investigate. Okay, you did this, you did that. Okay, you told us everything that we needed to hear, that you want us to hear, but we need to know what you're doing that you didn't tell us. That's how we can troubleshoot. So I can't really answer that question now. We need to talk to you and find out everything that's going on, because if you've gone through the cleanse and you've done it the way it's supposed to be done, and you stayed plant-based after the cleanse, then again, the question is, did you stay plant-based after the cleanse? So there are certain questions we need to have you answer so that we can help answer your questions. Does that make sense?
And one of the products, Dr. Prince, that you recommend, which we now have it on our site, is the mitotrol, which I know Dr. Rita and several others like Alfred Harris, who did the cleanse, and the mitotrol was the X factor to just bring everything together and bring that blood pressure down on people that were very, very resistant. So is that you would recommend the mitotrol?
Well, you know what, I recommend it extensively because, it's because of the rice products that I'm able to compete in track and field. I've been taking it for years and never had an issue with high blood pressure. Not just because I was a vegan, but because when you take that product, it gets into the cells better than any product that I've seen. And then when you have a product that can get into your cells and help to boost that energy in the cells, help to trigger that mitochondria, which is that battery inside every cell, then that cell is able to perform the function that it was designed to perform. So that is definitely something. In fact, I've used the rice products to actually help women shrink fibroids, because it was able to get in there and it was able to clean them cells out. So that's one thing you can try is the mitotrol. But also we need to just find out.
While he's missing, is there any coaches in New Jersey or somewhere near? Any coaches out there from New Jersey?
Right. Can somebody get in touch with her?
Hello,
Yes.
Dr. Prince. I'm on the line if you can hear me.
Yes,
This is,
who is this?
This is Karen. I had the question about the blood pressure.
Okay, got it.
I started taking the mitotrol just this week, once a day. 1 teaspoon once a day. I don't know if that would be a increase.
1 teaspoon a day is okay. Go ahead.
I've been I'm an old blood type. I was eating shrimp, and I spoke to Sharon, and she told me to take the shrimp out, and so I have. And occasionally, I may have a chicken wing, and that's it. I've been totally plant-based, not raw, not totally raw, but totally plant-based.
Got you. Okay. No, I appreciate it. What kind of readings we getting on your blood pressure?
130 to 140 over 84 till 94.
84 to 94. What did they used to be before you started cleansing?
I never took it before because I was on the medicine. And so then when I came off the medicine, then I bought the blood pressure machine. And so I don't know what was before.
So you're not sure. So you
went to the office. It was within normal limits. It was the diastolic was never over 80.
Got it. So anytime you took your blood pressure, it was never at home. So you never really had your own cuff.
No, but I have it now.
Okay. So are you saying you've been on this blood pressure medicine for how long?
20 years.
20 years. And so, and you got to understand,
the same medicine, the dose was never changed. It was always the same dosage. When I started out, I was on metoprolol, and then it didn't come down, and so then they put me on triamterene, and then with the hydrochlorothiazide, and then it came down, and it was always the same.
Got you. Do you exercise at all?
Every day.
Great. What kind of workouts you do?
I do the rebounder 5 days a week, and then I'm jumping rope about 5 minutes, and I'm a runner, slow runner, but running. I haven't run this summer, except I did do a couple of 5K races, but not consistently like I was. That's it.
Okay, so yeah, keep the exercise up. It's important that you continue to exercise. You did two 3-week cleanse or 7-day. What did you do with the cleanse?
21 days.
21 days. When was the last one?
June.
Okay. Were you checking your blood pressure during that time?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So here's the thing with your situation. When, of course, over 20 years, you don't want to live on a medication not knowing what your blood pressure baseline is on a daily basis, because you probably didn't need it for 20 years. I think somebody put up there, as far as sodium intake, Do you have a high sodium intake, or do you monitor that as well?
No, I don't monitor the sodium intake. And
Okay.
it probably is up there.
Okay.
But I'm drinking my water.
Got you. Yeah, and you know, so you do a lot of, so the seafood as well can also be, you know, doing that. So your body may be sensitive to some of those sodium electrolytes. And what you say, Dr. Kim? 25 is the max. Well, I don't know. I don't think she knows how much she's taking in. You know, she's at 2,500. Yeah, that we don't know what that is. Is that six chicken legs?
Yeah, but she needs to look at labels. She needs to start looking at everything she's eating to make sure of what sodium she's taking in.
Right. It could be something that you're eating on a regular basis, even though you're cleansing. Let's say, because when you cleanse, when you detox, you make your body more sensitive to a lot of stuff. That's why, like some people, even once they detox, and then they try to drink some of the coffee wind up raising their blood pressure. Are you doing caffeine? Are you doing coffee on a regular basis?
No coffee, just herbal peppermint tea. And even I stopped the tea because I used to do it at night with a teaspoon of honey, 2 teaspoons of honey, and I stopped because you say no sugar at night. And so I stopped doing that.
Okay. So I would say from this point on, start to troubleshooting. You're gonna have to do this and check back in with us next Sunday. Start to lower your sodium intake and see what happens. Keep the exercise going. And yeah, the shrimps and all that, the seafood, yeah, maybe you want to start to pull away from that a little bit more, just for the 7 days.
I've already taken that away.
Good.
But I started the mitotrol. That's what I'm saying. I only take it once a day. Should I be doing it twice a day? I don't know. But I've been doing 1 teaspoon twice a day. I just started this week. Well, now this is a new week, but last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the next 7 days, raise it up to 2 teaspoons. Try 2 teaspoons for 7 days and bring your sodium intake down. Become conscious of that salt that you're taking in. Because she's right, you know, that salt could be one of the X factors that's triggering that blood pressure. And then also, it could be also emotional. You got to understand that you've been doing this for 20 years. You've been taking this medicine for 20 years. You have a relationship with this medicine. So coming off of it, that's why I was saying in the beginning, it can cause you to have certain withdrawals to that, you know, which makes you think that, hey, I need to get back on that medication. But no, that's not it. 140 over 80 or 90, that's not excuse me, that's nothing to panic about. So just monitor it over the next 7 days. Look at that sodium intake, what you're taking in, what you're eating, and just be real cautious of it. If you need to do a 7-day cleanse, try that as well. You know, with the mitotrol, the 7 days will actually maybe also help you to start adjusting. Maybe what we need to do now is adjust to being off the medication, because 20 years, you can become addicted to anything in 20 years, you know, friends, family, food, it doesn't matter. And then when that, it's like being in a relationship for 20 years and that person steps away from you, there's a reaction to that, even that. So that's what I was talking about in the beginning when you've been on something a long time. So check back in with us after you adjusted some things, so that way we can kind of troubleshoot you. But we can't do a lot of that troubleshooting right now because we want to see what's going on and what's wrong. So next week, but now that you have your blood pressure cuff, check it on a daily basis. You know, don't take the medication that like you said, you've been off of it anyway. So, but cut that sodium down if you're doing a lot of sodium, a lot of salts. Intake more water. You know, is your water intake. Keep that. You should be doing half your body weight in ounces.
Right
now, okay, and keep the exercise up. And and if you're under stress, the stress can affect you too. Think about what's going on in your life right now. Is there something going on with the family? Has there been a trauma in your life? Is there something going on with where you work? If you work at all, maybe you're retired. You'd be surprised who may be stressing you out around you. You know, that's another thing you can become addicted to, you know, just being in a relationship that's stressing you out, but you've been in it so long, you don't want to step away. And that happened to me, you know, so I know how things around you can affect your blood pressure and your health. Okay. So it's not always what you're eating that makes you sick.
What eating you?
What's eating at you. Okay.
Okay. Just one more question. The mitral, take the 2 teaspoons, take them twice, 1 teaspoon, and then, or take both teaspoons.
Take in the morning, take both of them in the morning. And about, you do about 8 ounces of water. Take 2 and 8 ounces of water.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I will.
Check with us next week. Come back on the call. All right.
Thank you.
And I want to make a comment too. A lot of people that I get calls from, you know, deal with the blood pressure issue. And you notice whenever you are on blood pressure medication, they tell you to reduce your vitamin K, right? Because a lot of the greens have vitamin K, which is a blood thinner. And so sometimes when people go plant-based, they tend to eat heavy on the processed plant-based and not enough raw fruits and vegetables. Even if you're not raw vegan, primarily when you're doing the plant-based, you still should focus on a certain threshold of raw fruits and vegetables every day if you're going to really be on a lifestyle program. Would you agree, Dr. Prince, that we should still, whether we're raw vegan or not, you have to eat raw fruits and vegetables, and especially the dark green leafy vegetables, because those are heavy in vitamin K, which tend to thin the blood and help regulate blood pressure?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But there was something that I experienced. I don't know how to tell. I experienced where a person was operating with their blood pressure. And so as I was talking to him and you know, getting some answers out of him, what I realized is that person, even though they had a vegan eatery, they were still eating chicken. They were still eating seafood every now and again. It threw me off because I thought, okay, you got a vegan restaurant, then you should be vegan. I guess I shouldn't assume that. But when I realized that even though this person had a vegan eatery, and I thought they were vegan, they weren't vegan. They were still consuming animal products because their body was telling them, hey, it's time to just let it go, because that's one of the connections between high blood pressure, fatty liver, you know, and eating meat. So that's one of the things you want to do, but troubleshoot. But you got a few ways. You're gonna have to troubleshoot, and you're gonna come back to us and let us know, okay, how did you get it under control? Is it under control now? And we go from there.
Okay, I will.
Right, we appreciate it. We appreciate the input next week.
Okay.
Dr. Prince, this is Magnolia Carter. Do you see the question that I posed?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so there's someone, I don't want to say who, that is having an issue with a weakened heart muscle. This person has a pacemaker. It's coming to the end of life for the battery of the pacemaker, so they were looking to get that battery changed. They were told that the pacemaker is pacing 100% of the time now, and the left ventricle is a single lead, and that now they have a weakened heart muscle. So the doctor has put them on, I wish I could remember what the medication was, but I know that they also put them on the Cinepril and something to regulate the heart. So I don't know what to tell the person as far as, I've given them all the information that we have, but should this person be considering doing the 21-day raw vegan cleanse? Should they wait until after they get the pacemaker?
Change.
Will it help them?
Well, that's a scary situation. You're saying that the pacer is pacing regularly now?
100% of the time. It's, it's not resting. That's why they think that the heart muscle is getting weakened. But they don't want to do the surgery to change the battery to the pacemaker yet. They put her on some medications to try to strengthen I guess try to strengthen the heart muscle.
Right. And who is this? Who is this I'm talking to?
This is Magnolia Carter.
Okay, you're a coach, right?
I am.
Okay. So this may be one we may have to do a three-way with, because there's no straightforward answer to that, because you're talking about a very technical situation where a person has a pacemaker that would only, pace the heart when it needed to. But now you're saying that it's pacing the heart all the time, which means that, yes, she does have a weakened heart. But the weak heart is not necessarily going to be strengthened with medication. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
In fact, because the three things that weaken the heart, of course, is a lack of exercise, diet. What's the third one? Stress. There we go. Lack of exercise, diet, and stress. So with or without a pacemaker, her heart is getting weak if she's dealing with any three of those or all three of those. Even if they go in and change the battery, the point is that she's now dependent. The last person was dependent upon the blood pressure medication. Anything that you become dependent on for a long time becomes a part of your makeup now. Now you have to wean yourself off certain things, and weaning isn't easy, whether it's blood pressure medication or whether it's a pacemaker. Meat. People are weaning themselves off meat. So the whole detoxification process is really about just helping a person to wean themselves off meat. Because I know a gentleman who stopped eating meat and his skin broke out in boils. So it was, oh man, you know what? Letting go of that meat caused this reaction, and it did. But he didn't go back to eating the meat just because he had a reaction to it. But that was the consequences of having eaten it for so long. You guys got to understand that when it's like antibiotics. When you constantly treat an infection with antibiotics, you become addicted to the antibiotics. So that becomes your way of treating your infection all the time. But guess what? At some point, those antibiotics stop working. Now, what do? Well, the only thing you can do is start to strengthen your natural immune system. That means instead of antibiotics, you got to start taking probiotics. So when you take probiotics, you're relying back upon your own natural immune system. But you have working away from the antibiotics. And let me tell you, it's not easy letting go when you decide, okay, I'm gonna stop taking antibiotics, I'm gonna go back to building up my own natural immune system. You're gonna have a reaction to that. Blood pressure medication, 20 years, you're gonna have a reaction to that. A pacemaker in your chest and now it's pacing all the time, you're gonna have a reaction to that. We don't get away from these reactions, but there's a way that it can be done where it gradually weans you off, strengthens the heart, and starts to reach a point where, hey, you may not even need that battery if we can get the heart strong and healthy. See, remember, most heart disease is the #1 cause of death in America, right?
Right.
Because we're a country of herbivores eating like carnivores. Excuse the noise in the back. We're a country of herbivores. So the reason, let's look at the raw reason, the foundation of why she's even dealing with the heart issue. Stress, diet, lack of exercise. That's what we must address ultimately before any drugs are introduced into our body again, before a battery is changed on a pacemaker. We're missing the point. None of that really works. It only helps to keep the hospital administration very well paid. Yeah. we gotta get to the root of, okay, is she exercising? Well, let's start getting her walking. Let's get her on a regular walking schedule program until she can do more. Is she mobile? Is she in a wheelchair? What's going on with her mobility?
She's
is
mobile.
she's mobile? Okay, great. That's part one. We get her walking, right? Let me tell you, the quickest way to strengthen your heart is to get out there and walk and stay consistent. I'm talking about anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. Walk. I'm not saying get out there and run and do a boot camp. Just walk. Because when you walk, guess what happens? That heart rate starts going up and it starts making the heart stronger. Where's her stress at? Her stress levels. Is she working? Does she have a job? Is it family, friends? Or does she have a death in the family? You got to find out where her stress is coming from.
She lost her only child. She lost her only child, her daughter, and that was almost 3 years ago, but she's still really having a rough time with it.
Right, and has she ever cleansed or detoxed the body? Has she ever cleansed?
Never.
That's the problem. There's no way to turn disease around without detoxing your body. There is no way. You see, she has to start this process by any means necessary. She has to, and she has to be able to believe in a miracle, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take her believing in God, believing in this process, and knowing that, hey, there's got to be another way to make this happen, because that battery went out for a reason. You know, that battery is mechanical. That battery is made by man. Anything made by man is faulty. So therefore, we got to go back to what God gave us in the very beginning that would also keep us alive. So I believe that if we start addressing it properly, she gets on the cleanse and start detoxing, it will strengthen her heart. If she does what we tell her to do, and we help her through that process, she can strengthen that heart. Now, whether the battery gets changed or whether the pacemaker stays there, or whether it comes out, that's going to be up to circumstances. We can't decide that right now. The only thing we can do is give her what she needs to start moving in that direction. You see, and let the miracles fall where they will. But I do know that right now in her situation, there's a lot that she's not doing that she can do to get back to health. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Prince.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dr. Prince.
Yes.
This is Jill Bankhead. My granddaughter had asked a question in the chat. She wanted to know how the detox would be beneficial for sciatic nerve pain.
Oh, that's sciatica, huh? How long has she had it?
Tashi, how long has it been?
Huh?
About 3 years.
3 years? Okay. Where's her weight at?
It's heavy.
Okay. So I think we all kind of have an idea what she really needs to do, because that sciatica is inflammation. Inflammation causes pain. If too much weight on the body, can cause those nerves to be pressed upon. Once you start detoxifying the body, you start to reduce inflammation. When you reduce that inflammation, a lot of that pain will go away and subside. As you're reducing that inflammation, maybe introduce her to some CBD products as well, so that as she's getting rid of the weight, as she's bringing her weight down, she's also managing the pain at the same time. Sometimes you have to do that, but I'm gonna tell you, it can't happen unless you get some of the weight off and get back to her ideal weight. Because people in the ideal weight, they do well with getting rid of that side of it. You can get rid of it. I know people who have, but if there's inflammation in the body, it's going to touch that nerve. We don't want to be dealing with anything like multiple sclerosis, where you're dealing with more than just a sciatica. You're dealing with weakness of the legs where you can't even walk. So the sciatica is the first sign of acidity in the body. When the body is acidic, it goes from beginning symptoms like acne to intermediate symptoms like asthma to advanced symptoms like multiple sclerosis, you see? But it's really the same underlying issue. It's acidity in the body that's causing inflammation, and it's being unaddressed. It's not being reversed, and it's not being taken care of. You got to alkalize the body. Once you do that, then now I can see stuff starting to go away, especially the sciatica.
Thank you.
Yeah, how young is your niece?
My granddaughter.
Yeah, is that a granddaughter? Yeah, how young is she?
It's for your mother. It's for her mom.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So her mom got the sciatica.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, she needs to detox. And she needs to detox at least 2 to 3 times a year until she's back to her ideal weight. And then after that, she can drop down to twice a year and she won't have any problems.
Okay.
All right.
An update for you, Phyllis. I don't know if you saw the answer, but Denise Hill said she's in New York. How deep in New Jersey is she? So
I will find out. Thank you so much, Denise.
Yes,
Thank you,
Phyllis,
Denise.
and or Witherspoon is in Philly.
Okay.
Got you. Yeah, so that's a good protocol. So wherever the people are, connect them with a coach. Coach can contact me and then we can work on it from there.
any more questions?
Yes, one more from me. How often can someone do the 7-day cleanse?
Well, it's up to you. If you've done the 21 day, and I use that as a prerequisite. The 7-day is not necessarily something I would say start off with, but some people start off with it because they're afraid of the 21 day.
Correct.
Ultimately, you want to do the 21 day. I do the 7-day probably every 2 months. So I'll call it a raw week. So every month, every 2 months, or sometimes I'll do it every month, but at least every 2 months, I may do a 7-day and call it a raw week. You know, actually what you want to do is you want to build up. Because if you do a 7-day every 2 months, that's like doing a 3-week process twice a year. Because that's 7 days every other month. So that's 6 months that you're doing a 7-day. It's no different than if you did 2 3-week cleanses a year. At some point, you're gonna have to set it up to how you want to do it. You know, and that's what you want to do. You can do a 7-day once a month if you want. It's all where you want to take your health. But just know that the more you cleanse, the more it's gonna be hard. The more challenging it's gonna be to blend in with the crowd, to eat what everybody else eat, or you're just gonna become refined. So there's a lot of things you're not gonna be able to do. A lot of people you're not gonna just be around. I can't be around my frat brothers at barbecues like I used to. Can't be around cigar smoke. I can't be around a lot of that stuff. So just remember, you're isolating yourself from stuff that may be toxic to your body. So decide if you want to move slow or if you want to move fast. But I would say at least twice a year for the 3-week, and maybe every 2 months for the 7-day.
Okay, because I think she wanted to do the 7-day every month.
Okay, well, tell her to go forth. I ain't mad at her.
But it's no harm to do it. Okay.
Not every month. No, she can do it every month.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Charlotte. Charlotte Smith in the house. All right. Hey, whoever's on the line, I want you to text your name. I wanna see who's all in this line. So just go into your box, put your name up there. You ain't got to say nothing. Just text your name in there so I can know who's still here, who's on the line. Got Melissa. I knew you was on the line. Erica. Thank you, Erica. Ms. Jones. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Naeem, Bernadine. Thank you. Patrice. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Bankhead, Magnolia, Gia, Bertha. Thank you. Fountain, Doss. I see you. Phyllis. Stanley, my man. Melody, Karen. If I miss your names, because I can't read that fast. Berlin. Elizabeth. Chris. Fatima. Hey, Fatima, just remember, I'm on board with you. Just let's talk, okay? I'm gonna be back in town. Thank you, Tammy, Bernicia, Paula, Maddie, Claudia, Wanda, Wanda L.
Those are the
Reed.
two you forgot, Shanika and Maddie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cherie. We still got some more out there. Eppinger, Abinai. Yep, see, I figured out how to pronounce that. Abinai. It took me a while. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's always wonderful to be on with you guys. I just want you to know this, Genesis. Oh, snap, Crystal Robinson. This is just trust me, that you're never wasting your time when you're on this call. Every time we're on this call, things are changing in the world. Whether it's more vegan restaurants popping up, more people healing, more miracles happening. Every time we talk, even if we're not doing anything, this is a conversation in heaven. And what I mean is on a spiritual level. The scripture says, Marcia, hey Marcia, the scripture says, in the presence of 2 or 3 gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst. So if it's 67 of us, Valerie, on here, if there's 50 of us on here, if there's 100 of us on here, guess what? Guess who's in the midst? Our Father, the Father that created us. Whatever name he goes by, Anna, the one who created us is in the midst, because that's what the word says. That's why this is spiritual. That's why people stay on, because they're not just hearing, they're feeling. You're not just consuming my words. You're also drinking of the Spirit. That's what Jesus meant when he said, if you eat of my flesh and you drink of my blood, ye shall have eternal life. Well, he wasn't promoting vampirism. He was saying, if you eat my words, the words that I speak, they are spirit unto you. They are spirit and they are life. The words that I'm speaking, you're consuming those words. Those words are nourishing your soul. Those words are nourishing your body. And as we sit here, you're also absorbing the energy and the spirit that's coming from me. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm about 300 miles from you right now, but you can still feel my energy. You can still feel I can feel your spirit. That's why I love getting on there, because, we get high together. We out here, we on this call getting high. Some of y'all might be really getting high, but I'm just saying, we it's a natural high. We get high together because we're absorbing that energy. That must be what heaven is like, where everybody's vibrating on a higher frequency. That's how we heal naturally. And so when we talk about it and we be about it, and that present, we're doing exactly what Jesus said. We're drinking of each other's energy. We're drinking of each other's, and we eating and we consuming of each other's words. So that's what eternal life is. That's how we get there. So the age reversal program is nothing but the fulfillment of prophecy. We're fulfilling prophecy. And at some point, the whole world will catch on and say, wow, what's going on over there? These people are getting younger instead of older. You think nobody's gonna want to get younger once they find out what we're doing? Yeah, everybody wants to get young because nobody wants to die. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. Everybody has a threshold of pain that they have to go through before they're ready to make a change. Let them go through that threshold. Let them reach that point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. At that point, that's when we're there. We're going to help them to overcome that. And man, it's going to be a much better world, I believe.
That's awesome, guys. I mean, amazing. And I want to tell Dion, I know she asked about a cheat sheet for like interpreting the 4 major areas of the body. I know we have a quick reference. Thank you, Deborah Blackman. I think Beatrice, everybody that helped contribute to the quick reference. We'll make sure the coaches get that. It's a really good, and they sat there, Dr. Prince, and observed you, took a lot of notes when you were interpreting, and they put together a really great cheat sheet. So we'll make sure everybody gets that. But is there anything else you might want to add? Because she's just wanting, as a coach, to know how we can quickly help, interpret these bioscans.
Oh, you know what? We probably should be. We need to set up something so we can a class where we can actually start to learn about the full scan reports, all 52 or however many on there. So we need to learn about all of them at some point. We only learned about a few of them, but I want to kind of teach all of them. So I'm gonna be putting some stuff together for the rest of the items on there. And like I said, you can use them or you don't have to use them, but at least you want to be able to explain them if a person asks a question. So we'll go deeper into that. We'll pick a day sometime throughout this month whether it's maybe 2 days this month, we can go into actually doing a full bioscan study. So that way we learn, and then you guys could either tape the recording, create a cheat sheet, and go from there. But there's so much to learn. But I think now it's time to really open it up, because if you are Melissa,
Yeah.
you are Melissa gonna if you are bringing more coaches in and excluding the scan for now, then you want to at least teach the people that already have the scan how to do the whole scan, how to learn how to read all of them. So that way, while the new coaches are coming in and they're assisting in coaching, they're going to be helped by the people who have the scans. So the people who have the scans will be doing the scans, and they'll be able to help, use the other coaches that are now being certified as just regular coaches. Maybe like they call it maybe first certification, and then the second certification is when you do the bioscan. So it can be 2 certifications. So that way now you get more people in coaching, which means we can make more coaches quicker in order to deal with more people. And then once those coaches are ready to go up to the level of bioscan technology, then now we set another class where they can learn just about bioscan. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. And anyone that's actually already purchased a coaching program in the last, let's say 2 weeks, you're actually going to receive the recordings to get yourself jump started so that you can start the process. But Dr. Eric, I know we have to pick a date for the next class 2. This would be class 4, so that for those who want to join us live, they'll be able to do that as well. So I would say look out for that in the next couple of weeks. And in the meanwhile, you'll get the recording, Bernadine, whoever purchased, if she purchases it now, she'll get the recording of all 6 modules, so she can at least keep moving until that class starts.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And somebody asked what the next class was. Did I say that?
We said a couple of weeks. We'll need to figure out the date.
Got you.
Yeah, but
Okay. Got you. Okay. Got it. Okay. I'm cool. Is that it, you guys?
That's it for me. Great class tonight. Thank you very much, Dr. Prince, and thank you, Melissa, and
yeah.
everybody
Thank you.
else that participated.
Thank everyone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. That Bernadine?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's a cool picture, Bernadine. Next time we want to see your face. All right.
We saw her earlier.
Look,
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Prince.
See, there we go. Erica just butted you out the way.
Sorry, I just said thank you. That's all. To you and Melissa and everybody else. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Erica. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate you.
thank you, Doc.
All right. God bless you all, and may the Lord keep you and cause his light to shine upon you, be gracious to you, show you favor, and grant you everlasting peace.
Good night. Thank you, Dr. Prince.
Good night. Thank you, everybody. And
Bye.
be safe driving home.
Yeah, safe
we
travel.
Driving home.